The high five is a hand gesture that occurs when two people simultaneously raise one hand each, about head high, and push, slide, or slap the flat of their palm against the flat palm of the other person. The gesture is often preceded verbally by a phrase like "give me five," "high five," "up top," or "slap hands." Its meaning varies with the context of use but can include as a greeting, congratulations, or celebration. There are many origin stories of the high five, but the two most documented candidates are Dusty Baker and Glenn Burke of the Los Angeles Dodgers professional baseball team on October 2, 1977, and Willie Brown and Derek Smith of the Louisville Cardinals men's college basketball team during the 1978's 1979 season. Origin. The use of the phrase as a noun has been part of the Oxford English Dictionary since 1980, and as a verb since 1981. The phrase is related to the slang "give me five," which is a request for some form of handshake. See. Variations include slap me five, slip me five, give me some skin. See, with five referring to the number of fingers on a hand. The high five originated from the low five, which has been a part of African American culture since the 1920s. The exact transition from a low five to a high is unknown, though many theories exist about its inception. Magic Johnson once suggested that he invented the high five at Michigan State, presumably in the late 1970s. Others have suggested it originated in the women's volleyball circuit of the 1960s. Glenn Burke and Dusty Baker. For decades, the conventional wisdom has been that the origin of the high five occurred between Dusty Baker and Glenn Burke of the Los Angeles Dodgers at Dodger Stadium on October 2, 1977, the last day of the regular season. In the sixth inning, Dusty Baker hit a home run off Houston Astros pitcher J.R. Richard. It was Baker's 30th home run, making the Dodgers the first team in history to have four hitters with at least 30 home runs each in a single season. As journalist John Mualim tells the story, it was a wild, triumphant moment and a good omen as the Dodgers headed to the playoffs. Burke, waiting on deck, thrust his hand enthusiastically over his head to greet his friend at the plate. Baker, not knowing what to do, smacked it. His hand was up in the air, and he was arching way back, says Baker. So I reached up and hit his hand. It seemed like the thing to do. This story regarding the origin of the high five can be found in the written news as early as September 1980 and is featured in the ESPN 30 for 30 film The High Five, directed by Michael Jacobs. After retiring from baseball, Burke, who was one of the first openly gay professional athletes, used the high five with other gay residents of the Castro district of San Francisco, where for many it became a symbol of gay pride and identification. Louisville Cardinals. Another origin story, first reported in 1980, places it at a University of Louisville Cardinals basketball practice during the 1978's 1979 season. Forward Willie Brown went to give a low five to his teammate Derek Smith, but suddenly Smith looked Brown in the eye and said, "No, up high?" Brown thought, "Yeah, why are we staying down low? We jumped so high." Raised his hand and the high five was supposedly born. High fives can be seen in highlight reels of the 1978's 1979 Louisville team during a telecast of a 1980 game. Announcer Al Mugwar shouted, "Mr. Brown came to play, and they're giving him the high five handshake." High five. Hoax origin claimed by comedy writers. In a 2007 press release, to comedy writers and founders of the National High Five Day claim that a late 1970s and early 80s basketball player from Murray State University had invented the gesture. They also concocted an elaborate and involved story about this player as a young boy learning the gesture from his father. But in a 2013 ESPN article, the pair admitted that it had been a publicity stunt. Per the article, the two had scoured college basketball rosters to plug in a name. Celebrations, National High Five Day is a project to give out high fives and is typically held on the third Thursday in April, according to the National High Five Project. The event began in 2002 at the University of Virginia after a group of students set up a booth and gave out high fives and lemonade. The project has held events where participants take part in a high five-a-thon to raise funds for charity.